Shikhar Dhawan became the first ever player in the history of the IPL to hit back-to-back hundreds. Looks like this man is defining what a purple patch is, and yet his side end up with 164 for 5 in their 20 overs. I've got Tajid Agarkar and Deep Das Gupta joining us on Whirlpool Presents CSP Cricket Board T20 Time Out powered by Dell. Gentlemen, first up, Shikhar Dhawan. He scores 106 of 61, 14 fours, 12 fours and 3 sixes, and the others managed less than half of what he did. First, let's talk about what Dhawan did right today, Deep.
Oh, well, obviously he's got those runs, but I thought the way he played, I've very rarely seen him as calm as this. There was this thing about, I mean, he was really, really calm while he's batting. Even the death overs, you see Dhawan doing a lot of things like moving around a lot, trying to play a lot of those lap shots and fancy shots. But today, if you look at his shot selection, was absolutely spot on. Very little movement. So obviously when you move less, you have a stronger base to hit. And also the calmness, as I mentioned. I don't know. I mean, Ajit has seen a lot of him as well. I don't know whether he's seen Shikhar so calm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you said purple patch, but this is more than a purple patch. To get to hundreds, over 170 strike rate twice, just be in complete control. It felt like he was batting on a different pitch to the rest of the team. No one managed to get a 20 in the rest of the lineup, and Shikhar Dhawan gets 100 of 50 something balls, which is quite incredible actually. And just the sheer confidence at the moment that he's carrying is quite incredible, really.
Is there a certain Aussie-ness in the way Dhawan batted? Because he knew Shaw had gotten out early, Iyer got out, but he just kept backing himself. Does it show the kind of mental zone he is in these days? Just wants to back himself, play shots, and there was nothing much that the opposition bowlers could do against him.
I think it's the Indianness, not the Aussie-ness. I think it's just tells you what a confident player can do sometimes, and also tells you what different gears that he has, or the different changes. Or look, he had some starts in early part of the tournament, maybe not at the rate that he's scoring at the moment. So to get that 100 was really needed today, especially with it looked like the rest of them couldn't quite get going or struggled a bit to get used to the pace of it. That's why I said, I mean, it looked like he was batting on a completely different pitch to all of them, all the batters that were in that team, and it's a special innings again.
For 2 at the end of the 10 overs, Deep, what kind of score were you expecting Delhi to get? Because Dhawan looked pretty much set.
I was looking at, let's say, 175, maybe, if Stoinis and Hetmyer get going, maybe even 180, 185. But yeah, I mean, that middle period, I think there were a lot of batsmen who came in and really couldn't fire that well. I mean, starting from Rishabh to Stoinis, as Ajit mentioned, if you look at those strike rates, they should have been better than that during those middle overs. But also, having said that, you've got to give credit to Kings 11 bowlers as well. I mean, yes, the other batsmen couldn't really get off, but then credit to the bowlers too.
36 dot balls in the innings for the Delhi Capitals. On the one hand, and Dhawan was going great guns, but the others just not able to. What is it that the spinners did against the others that they couldn't do against Dhawan?
Look, we'll have to wait and see when Delhi bowl. If there is something in the pitch which is making scoring a bit difficult, which is making getting used to the pace. But after watching Shikhar bat, it's hard to believe that there is. Look, they bowled well. Like Deep said, the Kings 11 bowlers bowled well. They'll be very happy with the score that they've stopped Delhi Capitals at. We'll have to wait and see once both teams bowl on it, and Delhi have a lot more quality. Without being disrespectful to Kings 11, they have a lot more quality and depth in that attack of theirs. So we'll probably find out a bit more once they bowl if there is something to do with the pitch or it's just the bowling was that good.
Right. Arshdeep, was someone who was expected to bowl in the death overs because he made that change. Jordan went out. Arshdeep was asked to bowl in the death overs. And Deep, in that 19th over, he bowled 5 very good balls, but then got smacked for 6 off that last delivery. Just goes to show how much little margin for error there is for bowlers in this format. It was a cruel thing to happen on that last ball to him, isn't it, Deep?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? I mean, you get it wrong and you get punished. But credit to the youngster. I think Arshdeep in the last few games actually has been very good with his Yorkers, with his death bowling. Shami as well. I mean, starting from, I think initially when he started off, it was predominantly the first 6 overs where he was picking up wickets. But now, I mean, he's bowling extremely well in the death as well. So I think even, I mean, not just the spinners, even the seam bowlers, Arshdeep and Shami, they were absolutely brilliant the last 3-4.
Back into the side after recovering from his injury, and one would have thought he might be slightly rusty, might need some game time. He did try to go for those big slot sweeps, those big shots, especially against Bishnoi, but Bishnoi was smart enough to change his trajectory, change his line, and he forced Rishabh Pant to change his shot. It was a great contest, wasn't it? Ajit.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Rishabh Pant can be very, very destructive. So, and you could see the rustiness. I mean, look, he's played a few games at the start, obviously, but having missed a few through injury, perhaps didn't have enough time in the nets. And again, you keep going back to the same thing. We'll have to wait and see when Delhi bowl on it. If there is something in the pitch where only Shikhar was comfortable batting on it, rest of them seem to struggle with the timing. So we'll have to wait and see if that was the case. But the bowling was really good.
No Anrik Nortje, 3 changes made by Delhi. We've seen Hetmyer, we've seen Rishabh Pant. We're yet to see what Daniel Sams manages to do with the ball. But at the halfway mark, Deep, who's feeling better and what should Delhi's approach be?
I think obviously Kings 11 would be feeling better. I think they've got a pass score. DC, they've got a competitive score on the board. But yeah, I think Kings 11, the way things were and the way DC was going, and especially Shikhar, I think they've done well to keep them at 164. So I think going into the second innings, I think Kings 11 would be happier, perhaps. But they haven't. I mean, they've won the last 2 games, but they've kind of stumbled a bit every time they chase. I mean, they've ended up winning eventually last couple, but they've stumbled. So again, top 3 will be again very, very crucial. Let's say top 4 with Puran there, early wickets, and this could be a difficult or a different story for Kings 11 then.
An over or 2 from Akshar and Ashwin in the power play just to put pressure on Mayank Agarwal and KL Rahul?
They might try that. They might try that, but I think it'll have to wait and see because the left arm is open and Rabada is there. So it'll all depend on the situation, but I won't be surprised if they do get a goal because we've seen some sort of help from the pitch for the spinners.
Bowling has come good, but this time they do not have Anrik Nortje in the lineup. So we'll see how this bowling lineup responds. An opportunity for Daniel Sams as well. 164 in the pocket for Delhi. Kings 11 will fancy their chances in this game, but we will look back at this game at the end of the second innings. Rona Kapoor will join our experts on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket 14-20 timeout part by there. So do join them then. For now, that's it from us.